Sound check, sound check, sound check. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, for those of you that are regulars, of course, welcome to you as well. Tonight it's our historic evening, as you know. The main event is the Evander the Real Deal Holyfield live on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Tonight is very special because we're going to be talking about the real deal boxing. We're talking about Evander Holyfield's promotional outfit now and the fighters that are going to be fighting on November the 18th. This event will be a live streamed event and it will be a free event, but we'll talk about that a little later. Now, to start the show off and to kick the show off, we have the first fighter that's going to be on that card, Justin Biggs. Justin, how you doing?
How's it going? I'm just putting the last minute touches, for the fight on Saturday, and everything's great. I'm blessed.
So for those people who don't know who Justin Biggs is, give us a little bit of background to who you are.
Basically, I'm a 2017 Golden Glove champion. I'm out of Brooklyn, New York, and that's pretty much. Also, I'm 1-0, one knockout with professionals.
Okay, so let's talk about how you got into boxing. What inspired you to get into boxing?
Well, I was pretty much born into it. My father trained my older brother. My older brother was like basically a child prodigy, winning the Junior Olympics like 8 or 9 times, Golden Gloves multiple times at like 16 years old. So, when I was born, I just was born into it. I was around in the gym, learning and picking things up. So it was just natural that I would pursue a career in fighting. And, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and me, my brother, and my sister decided to take it, to the next level.
I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your father. So let's talk about, you got the name Biggs. So, I mean, people know of Tyrell Biggs. Have you got any connection with that?
You know what? I can't figure out how, but the name is pretty unique. There's not too many people running around with that name. So probably we do. Probably we are.
Okay, so we talk about you being from Brooklyn. Okay, so you got a lot of iconic guys from Brooklyn: Shannon Briggs, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe. Growing up, who were your role models or the fighters that you looked up to?
From Brooklyn specifically, I take something from everybody, but the main person when I was a child, I didn't watch any of the sport. So every Saturday, every Friday, I watched Friday Night Fights or Showtime, HBO boxing, and the guy that really did me was Zab Judah.
Okay.
I knew who he was before I knew who Kobe Bryant was. So.
Oh wow. What was it about Zab Judah that inspired you?
Just his confidence, the way he would produce these amazing knockouts, night after night, and I got to know him personally. I was in the gym with him as well, so just seeing even everything down to his attitude, the wealth, the confidence that he had, it was just amazing knowing that I can obtain those things too, through hard work. So
What do you think was what do you think was the key for Zab Judah's success?
I think it was just his belief and his work ethic. I take from, there's a lot of fighters around my area. It was, my dad would tell me stories about, Yuri Foreman, Louis Collazo, Paulie Malignaggi. He would say Paulie lost to the same guy a couple times. He started boxing at 19 late, and he ended up surpassing, becoming a 2-time world champion. That inspired me. Yuri would run to the gym with rocks in his book bag. Zab at 2 o'clock in the morning would be hitting the bag at school the next morning. His dad would say go to sleep. He would still just hit the bag. So those type of things would inspired me. I took a little bit from everybody, and then my dad gave me a book with Evander Holyfield about how I was trying to make the Olympics at one point, and it showed his whole story of how he would lose to this certain guy and ended up making it, becoming one of the greatest fighters ever.
Wow. So how did you actually get to meet Evander Holyfield?
Well, I was fighting in the Golden Gloves. I was in a fight with a lot of people, it was a very difficult fight at that. People didn't really think that I would come out the winner. He was there watching, and my trainer, after my dad passed away, Judah told me that if you win the Golden Gloves, this is where your life really starts in your career. And directly after I won, the craziest thing, they were like, yo, Evander wants to say hi to you, and there's a bunch of voters, they all wanted to talk to me. I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible. So I go see him, I shake his hand, and then, I get word that later on, he told Eric Bentley, he's like, yo, I want that kid. I seen him fighting, and I want to sign that kid to my promotional company. And that was it. Here I am.
So talk to us a bit about the promotional company from your standpoint. I mean, Eric, last time I spoke to him, talked about how they take safety and look after their boxers to paramount. Talk to us about that for yourself.
Yes, they have a lot of health precautions. I'm still new to them, but what I've seen so far is that just the care and just that the guys that have you, handlers, they appreciate you, and it makes me appreciate them so much. I've seen my brother be in contrast other fighters, world champions, and they don't treat you the way that Real Deal treats you. They're very approachable. They're very, very warm. They're caring. They want to they want to see you win. They want to see you do well. And it's just, for any fighter, any stage of their career, I think that this is definitely the place to be.
So, describe to people your style of fighting.
Basically, I would say that I'm I feel like every fighter says they're a boxer puncher, but I would say that I like to counter puncher. I like to adjust pretty well. Very, very. Some say I'm pretty fast, and I seem to have power so far as a professional.
So your first fight, as you turn pro, talk to us about the build up to that first fight for yourself and getting in the ring, obviously doing the business.
Okay. Well, the first fight, it was a different experience. It flew out to Atlanta. It was Holyfield's birthday, so
Wow.
I got out of my mind. I was like, I want to put on the most devastating performance here today. Guy I was supposed to fight came in, heavy. So I was supporting the campaign I went before. He came in, at 170 the night of it, and I was like, whatever. I'm here. Let's do it. I've been sparring a lot of bigger guys, and get in there. Goes a jab, I slip it. I do 2 jabs. Goes a jab, I parry it. I hit him with a right hook, and we got able to continue. It was about 36 seconds into the fight. I look over, I see Evander there. He's happy. That just freaking made my day. Cause I'm like, wow, you're impressed by me. All the things I've seen you do, it just feels so good to be appreciated.
Wow.
One of my favorites.
Wow, and on Evander Holyfield's birthday as well.
Yeah, yes. It felt so great.
So let's talk about Evander Holyfield, the mentor. We know about him, the champion. Let's talk about him being a mentor. I've only heard stories about him mentoring his fighters. Talk to me about his interaction with you as a mentor.
He spends a lot of time speaking to you about, everything that he's been through. So, I know the inside scoop when he fought Mike Tyson really well, and he's extremely honest. It's stuff that you really wouldn't expect. Some people they talk to you about stuff, and I'm extremely honest about situations and what happens in that fight. It's very, very humorous, and there's a wealth of knowledge. And he even speaks about his mother, and it's really weird. Like his mother's been main component of success a lot of times, even though she didn't box, you know, and it's actually really, really amazing how someone can be speaking to you about, you know, an aspect of life and it actually pertains to what your, you know, what to your profession. And even though they probably, you know, it's just really amazing speaking to him, having, you know, breakfast with them, and I'm very blessed.
Wow, wow. What was the funniest thing that Evander said to you?
Oh, he was speaking one day. He was like, one day, I was like, God, I was like, man, God, you did a lot for everybody, but it was something like, thank you for making me the most, you know, strong, the toughest man with two hands. Like, I could beat any man with two hands in the world. And he said that when he was world champion. That's what he had prayed to God one day. And it was just really, really funny because, I mean, it's really true. I mean, at that moment, greatest fighter with two hands in the world.
Wow. And the most inspirational thing that Evander Holyfield, the impact he's had on your career so far, was it the birthday or was it more or something else?
The birthday was a big deal, but it was more over. It was I believe that it was in his book. It was just how he made it to the Olympics. Like he had lost and he won like a duel match. Ended up going there, and it was like wow, and it was just showing like all of his losses, and he actually went to the Olympics pretty much, you know, stopping everybody. This was really, really amazing how like that little switch in life, nothing was really going well. Their mentor to help him out. It was just like it was really amazing. Wow.
Okay.
I'm always waiting for my moment, my pivotal moment.
Great, Justin. We've got people in the room. It's just started. If anybody's got any questions for Justin Biggs, please feel free to ask Justin questions. It's Justin Biggs. He said you were light middle, but you're fighting at middleweight tomorrow. For Saturday, in fact.
Sir.
Okay, so if anyone's got any questions for Justin Biggs, feel free to ask him the questions. So, Justin, this fight coming up on Saturday night. Tell us more about the opponent.
Something about the opponent.
Yes.
He is fighting at middleweight.
Okay.
He has one draw, one loss. It's my second fight.
Yep.
He's a pretty slick guy. Good jab.
Mm-hmm.
Tough. You know, tough. Would definitely be a step up from my first fight.
Okay. In terms of when you talked about your counter punching style, you think you're a boxer counter puncher. Who would you say that you most? I know people don't like to be compared to anybody. Some people say, "Well, I'm just Justin Biggs." Who would you say you most would kind of compare yourself to in style?
I would definitely say like Roy Jones.
Oh wow!
It took me a long time to master jab. I just prefer the hook all the time. So I would say Roy. I wanted to be, you know, phenomenal. I used to spar as a kid and cry if I didn't knock everybody out like that. Roy, and that, you know, like explosiveness, how Zab will just get on you. That's how I kind of, you know, beat myself.
When you're in the gym, what do you most work on for yourself?
You know what? I think it's timing. And I also try to add new techniques. You know, I feel like boxing is a martial art. And, you know, the more techniques you have, I feel like you can't beat everyone with the same thing.
Right.
So, you know, some days I'm working on pressure fighting. Some days I'm working on mid-range, long range, up close. You know, certain angles, certain stances that I'm gonna take. You know, sometimes I look at the Cubans, like the Cuban stance. I like the, you know, just different ones to throw people off, different rhythms. You know.
Nice. Well, I've got a guy in the room. DJ Slick says, "Good luck for your future and your career, Justin. I'll be watching closely from now on."
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored, and I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the ones that help people like me make it to the next level.
Aware, we'll be able to see Justin fight on Saturday night via live stream, which is free via Evander, the Real Deal boxing website. So more details will come of that later on. via Eric Bentley. So you'll be able to see Justin in action, Justin Biggs in action Saturday night via live stream, fighting in New York. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. What's your favorite Evander Holyfield fight?
You know what? I also love Mike Tyson.
Oh.
But that was a really, really good fight for me. Also, you know what? Actually, I'm actually gonna go with Evander's first professional fight. What a guy, like 13 fights, 1 loss, and that just showed me a lot of what he made. I'm like, wow, that's a heavy assignment. Like Evander has to a flying color. I'm gonna have to go with that one.
Miss Cortez from Los Angeles asked the question, did he speak about coming out in a movie?
Did I speak about coming out in a movie?
Yes. Did you?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what
the question is. Did you speak about? Are you going to be in a movie? Somebody's asking a question.
A movie?
Yeah.
No. I'm not. Not that I know of. That would be awesome. Not right now.
Not right now.
I'm sure there'll be a movie role. I would love that.
Okay. In terms of your chill out time, what do you do in your chill out time? What music do you listen to? What food do you like to eat?
I love the artists Drake, Big Sean. I like Panic at the Disco. But really, just hanging out with friends and family, and like just going out to eat, talking, laughing. That's really my thing. If I can be around someone and have a good laugh, goof off, that's really what I want to do.
Okay, fantastic. Justin, how can people follow you, whether it be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? Let people know about it.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BK Torch.
BK Torch. Can you spell that for everybody, please?
That's BKTORCH.
Okay. Justin, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people that are listening in to you today?
I just want to say, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I want to let them know you're the greatest host in the world, and anything is possible through God, through Jesus Christ, and I appreciate Him for the blessings, and I appreciate everyone for being there and watching.
Justin, that was beautiful of you, and thank you so much, and thank you for being such an articulate young man, and I really look forward to watching you on Saturday Night Dazzle.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
it. Justin, we've got one more question for you before you go. DJ Slicks has just chipped in and says, Justin, what are your thoughts on the boxing scene over in the UK? And is AJ big in the States? What are people's thoughts of him over there? And do they want or do they want Wilder? So there we go.
The boxing scene is amazing. I love how you guys are selling out. I hear about Paulie's a good friend of mine. I hear about the energy over there. It's like no other. Your fighters. I love Kell Brook. I love Anthony Joshua. And a lot of people, they kind of feel like Anthony might get Deontay Wilder. I like Deontay Wilder too. He's exciting, and I just hope those guys can go on to make amazing trilogies. And whatever you guys are doing over there in boxing, keep it going. And as for if AJ's a big star over here, I was in Manhattan. I saw a poster of him with a billboard. Yeah, the billboard of him, and he was modeling Under Armour. So that lets you know how big he is. 47 years.
Wow. Justin, once again, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports. And we look forward to watching Justin Biggs fight again Saturday night on Real Deal Boxing. Thank you, Justin.
All right, thank you. God bless.
God bless you too, brother. So there you have it. That's Justin Biggs. He's 1-0. He's a light middleweight fighting at middleweight. He says that he's looking forward to fighting on Saturday night. And as I said, you will be able to see that fight live on a live stream. Now, stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. We'll be bringing on, hopefully, our next guest. before the real deal enters the room. Stay with us. Okay, we are back with our second fighter from the Real Deal Holyfield team and his gym and his fighters from Real Deal Boxing. The second man up tonight is Edgar Berlanga. I hope I've got the name right there, Edgar.
Yeah, Berlanga.
Berlanga. Thank you, Edgar. So how are you?
I'm good, man. Just couldn't wait. I mean, I'm on weight already. So I'm just getting ready for weigh-ins tomorrow morning, man.
Okay, so for those people who don't know who Edgar Berlanga is, let them know who you are, Edgar.
Edgar Berlanga. I'm from New York, from Brooklyn. I'm 5-0, 5 knockouts. I was an 8-time national champion in amateurs. My amateur record was 162, 17 losses. Yeah, and I'm from New York, man. I'm just making a way sign with Real Deal Promotions, Holyfield.
So tell us, what weight do you fight out?
I fight at middleweight.
Okay.
60.
Okay. So what got you into boxing, Edgar?
Actually got me into boxing. I started at the age of 7, but my dad, around the age of 3, I used to always watch boxing. I don't know if you know Felix Trinidad.
Of course,
Trinidad.
Big fan of Trinidad.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
One of my idols, man, growing up.
Wow.
And, I used to watch him as a kid, and my dad was in jail, at the time, and my dad came out. I was a bad kid. Not really bad, but I was just hyper. You know what I mean? I had just a lot of energy. I was always running around. You know what I mean? Being bad in school, whatever. And my mom was complaining to my dad. Like, oh, this kid has to do something. You can't have him home. And my dad, went to the gym. His friend was training kids there. And his friend, told him, listen, I'm training kids. If you have a son, bring him. So he's like, oh yeah, man, I got a son, man. This kid, he needs something to do. My dad wound up taking me to the gym. I used to go about like 2 times a week. I started training, and then like in a year, or within a couple of months, they put me in the ring, with the owner of the gym, his son, and I freaking beat him up, without having no experience, just me and having the talent, and they wanted me to, do the Junior Olympics, and I did that, and from there, it took off, never stopped.
Wow. So tell us, through your amateur career, what was the most important lesson that you learned, you think?
The most important?
Yeah.
Throughout my amateur career?
Yeah.
The most important thing that I've learned was to get experience.
Okay.
The most experience I could before turning professional.
So it was,
and as me fighting amateur, that's what I did. I went to a lot of national tournaments. I went international. I went to Russia. I fought for the Junior Olympic National. I won the Junior Olympic Nationals. Then I went over with Team USA to Russia. I won the silver medal. I lost to a European gold medalist, Russian. He was the #1 Russian in Russia at the time.
Wow.
And I made it to the finals. And I lost to him. Yeah. So I try to, get as much experience as I could. I fought with the German, the Cubans, Ireland. that was my most important thing for me in the amateurs, was to get the most experience I could, you know, before heading into the pro ranks.
So you always were intending to turn pro. There was no doubt you were going to turn pro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, growing up as a young kid, you know, it was hard for me to stay in the gym because, you know, I was a kid. You know, I wanted to go out, I wanted to be with my friends, I wanted to go to the movies. You know, I wanted to hang out. You know, and I would get frustrated, and I wanted to quit a couple of times. Me growing up as a kid, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to be a kid. You know, what kid, you know, wants to, you know, come out of school and go straight to the gym to work out? You know, I wanted to come out of school, hang out on the weekends with my cousins. You know, and it wasn't like that. You know, so as I started getting older, as I hit like 14, 15, that's when I started realizing, you know what I mean, like my career could really take off, you know, to a whole other level, and I could better fit, you know, for boxing, you know, for my family, and put them in the right position in life, you know what I mean, especially for my kids, you know, when I have in the future.
Okay.
So
sounds interesting. You talked about Phoenix, Trinidad. Who in Brooklyn or New York was Alex as a direct influence to your life as a fighter?
In Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I mean, Brooklyn, man, you know, Mike, you know, Iron Mike, you know, they had Iron Mike, but me growing up, I was surrounded with Zab,
yes,
you know, with Zab Judah.
You
know, growing up, you know, I was surrounded by him and also Danny Jacobs. You know, one of my favorite fighters that come out of Brooklyn is Mike McCallum.
Wow.
You know,
the body snatcher.
Mike McCallum, the body snatcher.
Bad man.
And a lot of people don't put him out there as much, you know, but that dude was a bad man.
Really bad man. We had Julian Jackson on last night night before last, and he spoke about McCallum was the first guy to beat him, and he said that McCallum did a number on him. He said McCallum's a bad man, and I saw what he did to Michael Watson as well. Chris Eubank wanted no part of him. He was a vicious man, body puncher, tremendous boxer, had a great chin, great boxing ability, good power, good all-round fighter. And it's just sad when you talk about Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, Duran, they don't talk about Mike McCallum. But he could have. Exactly.
Especially when they did that little tournament, you know what I mean? They were supposed to throw him in the mix, and he never did, you know?
Wow. So
that dude was a bad man.
Very, very bad man, and very underrated, and really not given the credit that he deserves. So let's talk about yourself and your style. What sort of style do you have?
A lot of people question me that, you know, and I tell them I have sort of a Miguel Cotto.
Okay.
Prime.
Okay.
When Miguel Cotto was in his prime at 140, 135, you know, I consider myself, you know, a boxer puncher.
Right.
You know, I got good leg movement. You know, I got good hand speed. I got tremendous power.
Okay.
You know, and I could be on my toes all night. You know.
So I
could punch. I could go forward. You know.
So you're a hunt him down then.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Why did you decide to have that sort of style for your career? Was it something that you saw somebody do and you decided to do it, or you tried a different types of styles and right, no, this suits me?
Yeah, but what happened was, as I was growing up, I used to be more of a counterpunch. I used to wait and wait for shots. You know what I mean? But you know, my coach that I have now, who's a tremendous trainer. You know what I mean? And he's taking me to a whole nother level. You know. His father was one of the best. May he rest in peace. His father was one of the best trainers in New York.
Right.
You know, and grabbed that gift from his dad. You know, and brought it over to me, and he changed my style of fighting, man. You know what I mean? The fighter I was 2 years ago, I'm nowhere near. You know what I mean? Now I'm just on a whole other level. You know, and he's teaching me how to kill. You know.
Yeah.
And if you have power, and if you have speed, if you have all the tools, you know what I mean? Why wait and hold back? You know. You have everything right there. You got height, you got great attributes, you know. So as far as training, you know what I mean, everything was, you know, was putting pressure and breaking the guys down, you know what I mean, getting good shots in, you know.
Okay.
And landing the correct way, you know.
At the right time, yeah, of course.
Exactly.
How did you meet with Evander Holyfield then?
What was like a little rivalry thing going on. I was supposed to get signed with Mayweather Promotions.
Okay.
But yeah, I went over to his gym last year October. You know, as far as the top people in his gym, I don't know, exact 160 now, Caleb Plant.
Yes, we have an interview with him.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him I think next week I'll be talking to Caleb Platt, who's actually fighting James DeGale for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. So we'll be talking to him on BWTM Sports next week. Tell me about him.
Great dude, man. But,
yeah.
So what happened was that week I got there, I sparred him, and I sparred one of Floyd's tops, 160 or 160 pounders, one of his top guys. I sparred both of them back to back, and I did tremendous with both of them. You know, so everybody started talking, you know, and started work. I came back to New York. We started working on deals and stuff, but I really like, you know, what it was, you know, offering and the stuff I had to go through, you know. So then, you know, Real Deal came about. You know, Evander came, and you know, they started talking numbers, you know, and I sat down, I prayed, you know, pray to God, you know what I mean, you know, to give me the knowledge, you know, and what should I do and what move should I make, you know, and which one is going to be best, not just for me, but for my team, you know?
Yeah.
Because boxing is not it's a one-man sport, yeah, in the ring, but behind that is the business, you know, you need to go to the right people behind you. You know what I mean? So, man, you know, I sat down with my dad, my coach, and went with Evander, you know, that was the best thing we ever did, man.
Wow, that's some real knowledge you've dropped there, because, you know, if you look across social media, there's so many boxing managers in the form of keyboard warriors that just talk about, oh, you should fight this guy and you should fight that guy and go with that guy, but they don't really understand the business side of things.
Yeah.
So how are you, what I mean, not everybody makes and thinks the way that you do. What was it that was instilled within you to make that sort of a decision to say, you know what, Mayweather's a name, but dude ain't offering what I really should be getting here, and I'm not liking the vibe here. Let me see what Evander's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was it? How was it? What was it how are you able to make that decision?
You know, I spoke with my dad and my coach, you know, and then obviously, you know, I'm a smart kid, you know, I'm not gonna go for the name, you know, because he's for me, you know what I mean? I'm looking at the bigger picture, you know, how many fights I'm gonna get, you know, if he's gonna move me in New York, you know what I mean? Is he's gonna get me the right, you know, the right fights, you know, the right pay, you know, is he gonna leave me on the shelf, you know? And I didn't, you know, and I spoke with my dad, you know, and my coach, you know, we was just like, man, what they was offering me it was great, you know what I mean? And especially that this promotion is coming from my hometown, you know, so this is where I'm gonna build my name, New York. You get me?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really interested. A lot of kids my age would go for the name. Oh man, Floyd Mayweather. If I go for Floyd Mayweather, you know, I'm gonna get fit. I want to build my own, you know what I mean, my own stable, you know, my own brand. You know, okay. I respect Floyd. You know, everything he's done, his career. You know what I mean? He's one of my favorite fighters. You know, but we got to go with the business aspect.
Business is business, of course, and it's you who has to get in the ring and do the business and put your life on the line every time. So, you know, it's all well and good people calling names, but you have to suffer the brunt of it afterwards if it goes wrong. Let's talk about Eric Bentley, because I spoke to Justin Biggs about it earlier on, and I'm going to talk to you about it as well. Eric spoke extensively about the medical care that they invest in their fighters. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. I mean, wait, what you said again?
The medical investments, the stuff like to ensure that fighters get brain scans and all the rest of it. That's what he was telling us.
Oh yeah, you know, and stuff like that too. You know, that's what we looked at. You know, it was like, damn, you know, like, you know, these guys are really taking care of the fighters. You know, as far as that, as far as, you know, getting exposure for the fighters. You know, and Eric Bentley's doing a tremendous job. He's a tremendous person. You know what I mean? Like I tip my hat off to him, man. You know, he's doing a great job with the promotions. You know what I mean? Having Evander behind everything, you know, as well. You know, Eric is a great guy, you know, and you know what's funny is that Eric is best friends with one of my first cousins.
Ah.
You know, and I didn't even know that, and they like best of friends, you know, and that's you know, it's all God, you know, and now I'm signed with, you know, with him and Evander, you know, so it's a blessing, man. But Eric is doing a tremendous job, especially with, you know, with all the medical stuff too, you know, make it more easier for us as well, fighters, you know.
Wow. So what has Evander said to you as a mentor? We hear about Evander Holyfield, the fighter. What's he been like as a mentor in your life?
Oh man,
know, it's funny. The other day, Wednesday, I was actually speaking with Evander. Man, we were speaking for about, I'd say 20 minutes. You know, people was trying to call him, take pictures, and he was just stuck on talking to me, you know, and I had a serious conversation with him, you know, because, listen, man, you know, like, not too many great fighters that I've seen, you know, I got to sit down and speak to face to face. You know, usually if I see somebody, just take a picture, talk a little bit, and then keep it moving, you know. But with him, you know, we sat down and, you know, I just asked him a lot of questions, you know, about his career, how he took boxing. You know, because a young fighter, you know what I mean, we could sometimes be stubborn, you know. And even if my dad or my coach or anybody around my team tells me something, I could be a little stubborn, you know, because I'm young. So, you know, I said, you know what, I want to ask him, you know. So I started asking him questions, you know, about his career, how much, you know what I mean, how much he used to run, you know, how many rounds he used to spar, you know, did he ever drink, did he ever, you know, use any drugs, you know, about his fights, you know, with Mike Tyson, all this stuff, you know what I mean? And it was just a big inspiration. I mean, you know, talking with him and him passing me that knowledge, you know what I mean, that I'm gonna use for my next camp, you know. And I've asked him, I said, how serious did you take boxing? And he told me I took boxing very serious, man. He said, listen, champ, boxing was my life. That's why I did all the accomplishments that I did, you know.
Wow.
I put boxing first, you know what I mean? Besides God. I put boxing second, but God is first, but he said I put boxing first, bro.
Wow. I mean, so
I was just in shock, you know.
What does that do for a fighter? I mean, I've never been in your position to be able to experience that, but what does it feel like when you're looking at a 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, a guy that's beaten Mike Tyson, a man that's been undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, a man who's considered one of the greats, taking that time out to talk to you? I mean, he could be the face of the real deal boxing, and he could just be one of those guys who says, hi, hello, how are you, goodbye. But he's taking time to talk to you, to mentor you. What impact does that have on a young fighter?
It's a blessing, you know, and it's a blessing from God, man, you know, and I just thank God every day for putting that man in my life, you know, and for even that day, for just giving me a couple of minutes, you know, 20 minutes of just serious talk, you know what I mean? Just about the boxing career, you know, side of it, and how to take boxing serious, you know, and to remain focused and don't get distracted, you know. He told me a lot of stuff, man, that I'm going to put in my toolbox, and I'm going to keep with me till I become world champion. And then I'm going to go back to him and say, listen, Evander, thank you, you know, for everything that you told me, you know, that day. Yeah. I'll always remember that day, you know. Yeah. It's a blessing, man, for real.
I mean, outside of boxing, what does Edgar do like to chill out, downtime? What music do you listen to? What food do you eat? Would you like to go?
Oh, man, my downtime, I love to be with my family, man. You know, I love, you know, right now my family moved out to Florida, so my mom is here, but I like to get my mom and go out to Florida and just relax. I'm a family man, you know, I like to be with my family, you know, I like to go out, movies, you know, when it gets cold, do paintball, you know, I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Food I love, you know, I love my Spanish food, man. You know, rice, beans, penne, you know, Thanksgiving is coming up now.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Wow. Music?
Music, I like hip hop.
Okay.
I love R&B.
Right.
From back in the day.
Back in the day,
80s,
of course.
R&B.
Yeah. I'm there.
I love my salsa music.
Okay.
When I'm in the gym.
Okay.
I love my reggaeton music as well.
Yep. Wow. And in the ring, in terms of presence, are you a guy that uses intimidation as your way of breaking a guy's psyche? Are you one of those type of guys?
I just keep a poker face, you know. I don't really like to do the trash talking. I don't really like to be the loud one, because the loud one is the one that gets exposed the most, you know. I like to keep my poker face. I like to be calm, you know what I mean? And I just like to get in there and do my job, you know.
Okay.
I'm not here to be fooling around and talking smack. You know, if the guy gets out of hand, you know, then I have to put my foot down, you know. But as far as that, man, I'm just poker face all the time, you know. You see Andre Ward, you know.
Mr.
Ward is one of my
absolutely. He is my favorite fighter. My favorite fighter. Class act, in and out the ring, absolute class.
Yeah, man.
Miss Cortez asked, "Are you into any other sports?"
No.
So you're
No,
just
not at all. I started my first sport was actually my first sport was actually baseball.
okay.
I started like at 5 or 6, and then I was doing boxing and baseball, but then I quit baseball. I thought I was gonna be a baseball player, but it turned out, that I'm just trying to become world champ. But
Miss Cortez then asked, does he do home dance?
who?
Home dance. I don't know what she means. Do you do home dance? I don't know what that means.
No, I don't.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure what it means. I'm not sure what that means. Miss Cortez, if you could explain what you mean there, I'm not quite sure what you mean by home dance. What do you make of the UK scene?
Wow, Eddie Hearns, beast.
You like him?
I told my coach, if the future, if anything happens with Holyfield, I would love to sign with Eddie Hearns. That dude is a beast, and I'm loving what he's doing in the UK. He's doing a tremendous job, man. With Anthony Joshua, with Kell Brooks, and the rest of the UK fighters that's coming up, because there's a whole bunch of you guys are breeding lions, bro. And I'm loving the atmosphere in the UK. It's crazy.
Wow.
The atmosphere in the UK is tremendous, bro. I got to tip my hat off to Eddie Hearns for making it happen.
You're in the middleweight division, so let's talk middleweights. Golovkin, Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders, Danny Jacobs. Let's talk.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on middleweight division? Did Canelo beat Golovkin? Did Golovkin beat Canelo? What did you think of Jacobs' fight with Golovkin?
I thought Golovkin beat Canelo.
Okay.
I feel like if Canelo would have stood in the middle of the ring and not really move and let his hands go, I know he got tired, but I feel like he would have stood in the middle of the ring. You know what I mean? Use his boxing skills, use his jab, throw a little bit more combination, because he'll fight in spurts throughout the round. But Golovkin kept pressing the fight, and throwing punches. He'll have like a little spurt in each round, and then he'll just start moving.
Right.
And you can't win fights like that, man. So I had Golovkin winning that. When Danny fought a tremendous fight with Golovkin, man. He shocked the world. He shocked Brooklyn. Everybody was behind him. I was behind him. You know what I mean? And obviously, I thought he won. Points, man. Because he was letting them shots fly.
Wow.
He fought a tremendous fight. He fought a better fight than what Canelo gave Golovkin in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think of Billy Joe Saunders, WBO champion?
Oh, Billy Joe. Oh, I like him. He's good. I think he's gonna beat David Lemieux.
Okay.
They're fighting next month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's gonna beat David. I like Billy Joe.
What makes you think he beats David? A lot of people are saying that Billy Joe could get beat by David because of the punching power.
Yeah, but Billy Joe got skills, man, boxing skills, and David Lemieux sometimes depend on one shot, it's just his left hook, and if you could take that away, he's just an ordinary fighter,
Okay, that sounds real good. What do you think of the New York show with Jacob and Miller? Says DJ Slick.
With Danny and who?
Danny Jacobs' last fight with Arias.
Oh man, I was pissed, man. I was pissed, bro. That fight had me pissed.
I fell asleep on it.
About how you have to stay humble. You can't talk all that trash. Have to back it up. If you're gonna talk all the smack in the world, you have to go in there, at least fight, even if you lose, but at least if the world says, you know what I mean, if everybody that's watching it can say at least he fought, at least he went toe to toe and did what he said, I'm gonna stay in the middle of the ring the whole fight, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, he didn't do nothing.
Unfortunately, that was 2 weeks back to back in New York. You had Stavern Wilder, and then you had Miller. You had Jacobs and Arias, and he was saying he was going to do this and that and the other. And then every time he had a chance to do something, he just held on to Jacobs. I didn't get it.
Yeah, man, it's all talk, you know. It's just to build the fight up, you know. So if you're gonna do all talk, might as well just stay shut, you know. That's how I look at it.
So,
You know what I mean?
so, what's your thoughts on someone like Adrian Broner then? Because he does a lot of talking.
Adrian Broner?
Yeah.
See, Adrian, the problem with Adrian Broner was he was a real good fighter coming up, man. A real good fighter. What happened with Adrian Broner is he lost focus. You know, he lost focus, you know, on the other stuff. He was on doing the rapping stuff. He's in the clubs, you know. And everybody knows that, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what he does, you know. And he lost focus, man. Like, if he could bring back the fighter he was when he first was coming up,
yeah,
he'll be a problem at 140 or 147, I guarantee it, you know. But when you get distracted and doing all sorts of other stuff and then trying to get a fight and then get ready in 6 weeks, you know what I mean? And you got all that liquor in you and all of those drugs, you know, that you're taking, you're not going to be the same fighter as you was, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Two other guys, Andrade and Charlo. Your thoughts on those two guys at middleweight?
Real good. I like Charlo. I would like to see that fight happen, but they're real good. I like them.
Where does Peter Quillin fit in the mix?
Peter, he moved up, right, to 168.
Did he? I didn't know he moved up. Did he move up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he moved up. He fought like 2 months ago, I think, before his first 160 super middleweight.
Okay. I didn't know that. So I learned something new today. Wow. Wow. Do you see DJ Slick asked the question, do you see Gervonta Davis being the new Broner in terms of going off the tracks?
Yeah, I do. Gervonta's a real good fighter, man, but like I said, too much distractions, you know? You seen he didn't make weight his last fight, you know, like you have to take this stuff serious, man, especially when you're a world champ, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be giving up belts for weight problems, you know what I mean? If you're gonna give up your belt, it has to be for a cause, you know what I mean? Like, dude has to be you, you know what I mean? Like, not because of the weight loss, you know? You're not making weight, you know? And that's what comes with being distracted, man, you know? And I'm noticing that he's probably getting all distraction, you know what I mean? Because he grew up, you know, has money now, you know, jewelry, cars, you know? So all that stuff would be a distraction for fighting, man, you know? And so to be a fighter, man, you have to be 100% focused.
When you were at Mayweather's gym, did you manage to see anything or be involved in the doghouse?
Who, me? Was I in the doghouse?
Yeah, were you ever in the doghouse?
Yeah, that's why I sparred. I went to the Mayweather gym, and that's why I sparred Caleb, and then the next day I sparred one of Floyd's top guys.
Right.
So they was just looking at me, you know, I'm like, who's this kid? You know, like this young kid right here. Yo, guy, we get some work, you know, and I gave beautiful work, you know, and they was just like, damn, you know, like, you know, Khaled told me, listen, man, I've been in camps, man, with Ubu Andre, with Peter Quillin, man. He was like, yo, man, you got it, bro. You know, he was like, you definitely have it, man.
Wow.
You young, you know. I was 19 at the time, you know. So
one of the UK guys who we're quite good friends with, a senior Byfield, he was in the States and he said he put out some good work as well, and Mayweather wasn't impressed with it. It seems that the stories I'm getting is that when people go to the Mayweather gym and put work on their fighters, Mayweather isn't too impressed with them, but he don't mind his fighters putting work on the fighters that come to the gym. Is this true?
Yeah, but you know what Mayweather has? He has the eye. He knows. You know, he knows fighters and he knows who could be the future.
Right.
You know? He has the eye for that, and I give him that. You know, he has the eye. So I feel like, you know, if he sees something in you, he's gonna give you the props that you need, you know?
Right. Right. He may look back one day and regret not treating you better, eh?
Yeah, exactly, man. You know? But it was no hard beef with them, you know what I mean? It was just business. Business,
of course. So before you go, Edgar.
Go with the right business deal.
Yep. Before you go, Edgar, let everybody know again who you are, what weight you're at, and how they can reach out to you.
My name is Edgar the Chosen One Berlanga. 20 years old. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm fighting at 160 right now, middleweight. My record is 5-0, 5 knockouts, 4 all knockouts in the first round.
Wow.
Like I said, amateur record was 162 amateur wins, 17 losses, 8-time national champion. My Instagram is Real King Edgar Berlanga, and my Facebook is Edgar Berlanga.
Okay, Edgar Berlanga, thank you so much for being on BWTM Sports.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing you on November the 18th via the live stream. And thank you for this opportunity, and welcome to BWTM Sports family.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. God bless you. God bless all you guys in the UK, everybody that's behind with you. God bless you guys, man.
We look forward to seeing you on Saturday night. Take care, Edgar.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So there you have it. Two fighters, Justin Biggs and Edgar Berlanga. Both fighters part of Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing stable. As I said, we were going to go and start off by talking to the fighters in the stable. Still to come, we have Duke Micah, who a lot of people may know from the UK. He's going to be on the show. We'll be talking to him, and one other fighter we'll be talking to. But the main event is just around the corner. In less than 10 minutes time, we will be talking to Evander, the Real Deal Holyfield. So during this time, I'm just going to get some people to ask questions. If they have any questions before we get Evander in the room, we've got a few minutes to go. So have we got any questions? Miss Cortez says, nice. If I could go to New York next month, perhaps I can get an interview. Yeah, perhaps. There's another show, I believe, in December, early December. So yeah, I'll get more details about that from Eric Bentley. And he's the chief operations officer. So he'll know all about that stuff and about signing the fighters and all the rest of it. So before we bring Evander into the room, I'd like you to get your questions up in the room. Of course, keep those questions respectful. And what did you make of Justin Biggs and Edgar Berlanga? What are your thoughts on those two guys? I think they're both two promising fighters, and I'm looking forward to seeing them on Saturday night. I hope you are as well. Now, I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions for Evander Holyfield, so let's make sure that those questions are down early so that I don't miss them out. Okay. We will be with you in a few moments. When we come back, we'll be talking to Evander Holyfield and Eric Bentley. Stay tuned. Okay, we just got a bit of time to kill before we start our next section part of the show. Just waiting for Evander and Eric to get back with me. So, people in the room, let's talk. What do people think of the situation with Rio Ferdinand? Rio Ferdinand, the ex-footballer who's going to be turning pro at the age, I think, he's 37 years old, turning pro. And the talk of Ricky Hatton coming out of retirement to fight Rio Ferdinand. I'd be a bit concerned if I was Rio Ferdinand, but the first thing I'd be thinking to myself is, well, what weight would Ricky Hatton be fighting Rio Ferdinand? Rio Ferdinand's going to be a cruiserweight. We've been watching the training sessions with Rio Ferdinand. I have to say, it's like training a guy from literal scratch. Like, I don't know how long they expect to turn Rio Ferdinand from being a footballer to a boxer. I don't know if he's going to be able to actually make that, adapt him from a footballer to a boxer. We've got good examples of fighters that have done well. Curtis Woodhouse and Leo McKenzie are two fighters that turned pro and did well. But it will be interesting to see how that happens with Rio Ferdinand. I get the impression, looking at Rio Ferdinand at the moment, is the impression I get is that he's one of these guys that I think as soon as he gets hit, he's going to realize that boxing isn't a game. This feeling I keep getting watching him on the pads, hitting the bags, and I just feel the one big question is, are you able to take that big punch when it comes? Will you be able to take it? Hatton isn't a cruiserweight. I know he isn't a cruiserweight. Well, it is madness. Thoughts on Price and Fury call out on Twitter. First fight for Tyson in his comeback. Interesting, dangerous fight for Tyson in his comeback fight against Price. You don't really want to get hit by Price. I don't know. It's an interesting fight though. Price v Fury. It was a big fight back in the day. I remember talking to both Price and Fury when that fight was, about to get made. I mean, I remember it, and talking to Price and Fury. I don't know. Different age stages of their career. Fury's coming back. Price has been done a few times now. I don't know what point does that fight prove? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's good to see Tyson back in the gym again. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't want to see Tyson Fury boxing. I don't want to see him coming back out of what he's doing there, training, and then going and fighting in a Joshua fight. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him anywhere near Joshua until 2019. At least see him 2 or 3 fights back, fighting back to back to back. I'd like to see that. And then after that, it'd be nice to see him actually fight. After that, it'd be good. In 2019 against Joshua. After 3 fights, at least. I don't want to see that fight. Vladimir Klitschko back in the ring as well. It was interesting to see him saying he thinks he's still got it. I hope that if he does come back, that he actually listens to Bashir and he actually works with James Ali Bashir. I don't know if that's going to happen, to be honest. I really don't know if that's going to happen. I think Klitschko, I don't know if Klitschko is going to do anything different or make any changes. Could be the same old Klitschko we see all over again. But the question is that Klitschko good enough to beat the likes of Deontay Wilder, which I think Deontay Wilder should fight Klitschko, as that would be his legacy fight. You can't say Stavanger's legacy fight, so that would be a good fight. And even Parker to fight Klitschko. Those are 2 fights that I think are winnable fights for Vladimir. So give me a moment. Okay, people, we're just still working to get Evander in the room. He will be in shortly. We're just trying to work a few things out technically to get Evander in the room. I think between Evander and Eric, they're in 2 different locations, but we're going to get Evander in the room. So let's see what people are saying. Vitali return would make more sense, possibly. Anyone seen Vlad's USB stick? No. Who's the best fighter Evander Holyfield's ever fought? His opinion, I will ask him when he's in the room. Vlad would destroy Parker, possibly. Thoughts on Parker's 60-40 offer to AJ? You know what I'm thinking to myself? I'm thinking to myself, when I look at these guys talking about negotiating the belt, I think it's not, it's less of them wanting to fight the guy. It's more about how much are you going to buy the belt for? I guess the impression I get, it's not about, negotiation of, I'll take the higher price, you take the lower price, I'm the A side, you're the B side. No, back in the day, it was all about, listen, I want that belt, I'll fight you. I'll take the lower cut. Once I beat you, I can capitalize on it. But the impression I'm getting with guys like Parker and with Charles Martin, it's almost like, yeah, if you give me a good price, I'll give him a belt, rather opposed to, listen, I'll take the lower cut for the fight. I back my chances. I will beat you, and then I'll take the belt off you. I'm so confident I will beat you. I will then, I'll capitalize and I'll make my money back on it and more. It just sounds to me that Parker's more selling his belt than actually selling himself in the fight. So bear with me a second. I'm going to have to get a pen and a paper, I think. Give me a second, people. I will be with you, and we will have Evander back in the room. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us in the room now the COO of Real Deal Boxing, Eric Bentley. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you back on the show again.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back. Thanks for having me.
So we were talking earlier on to Justine Biggs and Edgar Berlanga. and they were talking about their
Okay.
careers. Yes, they were talking about one of the things.
Great kids, huh?
Yeah, absolutely great kids. One of the things they were talking about being part of the Real Deal Boxing, they talked a lot about not only how you met them, but how you treated them when meeting them, and the interactions with, particularly Edgar. He spoke about how he was at Mayweather's gym and the transition from leaving Mayweather's gym and then joining Real Deal Boxing. Talk to us about that a bit.
Well, Edgar's a special kid. He's a very humble, hungry, young, very young. He's only 20 years old, and he's very family oriented. He's very spiritual. It's amazing when you see this guy training and fighting, the aggressiveness and the anger you see out of him, because you would never know it by meeting him. But yeah, I received a phone call one day from a friend of mine who mentioned that Edgar is looking for a promoter. I knew him from the amateur days. He was a very decorated amateur, and I know he can fight. And funny story behind that is he happens to be the cousin of one of my best friends growing up. So
Did mention that
when my cousin, I never knew that before. So when the name was run by me and I found out Edgar was looking for somebody to sign him, I wanted to at least give the kid the opportunity to check him out and have a conversation. And from there, it was just, I mean, he's a special kid, and we're so happy to have him, and we expect really big things from him in the future.
So in terms of your role, Eric, explain to people what you do at Real Deal Boxing.
I basically oversee the day-to-day operations of the company. Evander Holyfield is obviously one of the co-founders and major equity holders of the company. His partner is Sam Amici, who is the chief executive officer, and they've entrusted me with just maintaining the day-to-day operations. So it's making sure that the events are run properly, that the proper staff is hired, that we dealing with the fighters, dealing with the trainers, helping to coordinate and travel, dealing with the networks. It's just it's a long job. It's a fun job, but it's just making sure everything gets done in terms of the events and our obligations as a company to the fighters every day.
I have to say that you run an absolute professional setup from top to bottom, very professional, from the fighters to dealing with a Real Deal Boxing, real professional setup, and I think that's going to help you guys go a long way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We have a very special name to uphold and a great reputation like Evander. There's very few people who've accomplished what he's accomplished that you really can't say anything negative about. So we want to preserve that. We want to make sure that the fighters that we sign uphold his reputation as well, and they kind of live the way he lived. We don't want them to be in the news for the negative, for negative reasons, and we're there to support them as well. Evander's whole thing is he wants to serve as a mentor to these kids and bestow the knowledge upon them, so that maybe one day one of these guys we have will be the 5-time heavyweight champion of the world. Who knows? And he says records are made to be broken. And,
absolutely.
And when that time comes, he wants to be on the right side of it when it does happen. So.
Fight fans are very good at calling out promoters' names. Eddie Hearn, Lou Duva, or what's his name? Not Lou Duva. What's his name? Kathy Duva, and Bob Arum, Don King. But one thing that a lot of people don't know about Real Deal Promotions or boxing is the way you care for your fighters. It's something that almost is unheard of, the way you've taken extra care in the medical side of things. Please talk to fight fans about this, because I think it's really important, that it's something that shouldn't be overlooked and should be highly praised.
I appreciate that, and it's very important to us, and it's an initiative that we really are working hard to improve upon and bring as much attention to as we can, because part of my background is from the regulatory side, where I worked with the New York State Commission, and while we were there, when David Berlin at the time took over as the executive director, one of his initiatives was he wanted to make sure that whatever fighters needed health coverage, to take care of themselves, we would try to help them enroll with, at the time, what was called Obamacare, which was an Affordable Care Act for most people. Now, unfortunately, we can only do that with New York residents because that's how the policy was created. But one of the things that we did was we ran a study of the fighters who came into New York and asked who had health coverage. And like 94% of the fighters did not have any form of health insurance or health coverage. And that was astounding to me. And that resonated with me for a long time. It's been 3 or 4 years since we did that study. And one of the things that Evander talked about when we first started was, I want to do something
we have to take a different approach. We have to, stand out. We have to show the fighters that we're there for them. The first thing I wanted to do was, all right, well, you know what? Let's figure out a way to clean up the medical side of this. These guys don't have medical care. We've partnered with Medical Arts Radiology. We've brought on our own full-time staff of ARP certified ringside physicians. And essentially, what the whole premise is we're going to monitor the fighters throughout their career. Whereas one guy fights in New York, or one guy fights in the UK, the same guy fights in California. You're going to places that have very strict medical protocols in those cases, but you're being seen by 3 different sets of doctors. There's no track record. There's no, consistency in who's evaluating the fighter and their long-term health. So there's really, you can't measure their neurocognitive status. You can't measure whether or not they're progressing, whether or not they're showing any ill side effects from, it's a contact sport, and it's something that if you don't take care of it properly and if you're not monitored the right way, it can cause long-term damage. But our goal is to be as preventive as we can when it comes to that damage on our fighters, and hopefully it'll one day trickle on to other promoters or throughout the entire sport, and have other commissions start following our lead and being more consistent with how they receive the health and safety of the fighters. Because I mean, in the U.S. especially, you have 50 different commissions at least, and they all have different rules. They all have different doctors. They all have different standards as to what should allow somebody to fight, and we want to change that. So we want to just do as much research as we can right now and protect our fighters as much as we can, so that we don't have to have any tragedies down the road at one of our shows, or so that these guys can go on with their lives when their career's over and function normally.
There's been a recent incident that happened to a fighter that got knocked out quite brutally. I think it was in the first round. They got hit with a big right hand, and they were signed to a very big boxing promotion company. And the story has it that that boxing company basically didn't even return the call after the gentleman was put in a coma. We will be talking to that gentleman in a few days' time. When promotions or boxing organizations or setups turn their back on fighters that get injured in the sport, it leaves a real bad taste in the mouth of many families and boxing fans. Why is this the case?
Why is it the case that they turn their backs on the fighters, or why is it the case that I couldn't tell you what the case is? I mean, at the end of the day, while this is a job, it's something that we all take very seriously. And from my standpoint, I have to go home. I have to, kiss my wife and kids goodnight. I have to be thankful for what I have. And the way I try to live my life is if, anyone did anything to hurt any of them, I wouldn't be very happy. So I try to treat other people the same way. And that's kind of the way we try to go with our entire company as well. And everybody who works for us, we expect them to treat people the same way. And again, I'm familiar with the incident you're speaking of. I'm not very familiar with the reasons behind the situation. I feel terrible for the fighter. I hope he's okay. And if there's anything that we can do in terms of maybe giving him an opportunity to speak on one of our productions or do some commentary, give that a shot, we're happy to help all fighters in that sense, because we want to see people succeed and we want the sport to grow, and we want to help it get a better reputation, because there are really a lot of good people in the sport, and it's just the people that do bad things that always get the attention. And that's not just the sport. I mean, you look at the NFL as well, the ones that you don't hear about all the community service that people do in the NFL. When you hear about a guy doing something wrong, then that gets the most attention, and that's what draws people's ire. And
of course,
that's society, and you can't really change that. But if we can slowly but surely start bringing a more positive attitude to the sport and making good changes and doing things the right way, and working with each other instead of against each other, then listen, Rome wasn't built in a day, but hopefully we can make strides.
One of the things that was very interesting was when Edgar Berlanga talked about being at Mayweather's gym, and he said he then spoke with you guys and said that the deal that was offered to him was far more appreciative and more respectful of his skill level and who he was as a person. Without going into financial details, what was it, do you think, that you offered Edgar that would draw a young person away from the temptations of being with Mayweather Promotions and being around the superstar Mayweather?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Financially, we're not at a level right now where we can compete with Mayweather. So what we're trying to do is we need to go above and beyond to show the fighters, how much we want to see them grow, how much we respect them. Look, our standard, we explain to the fighters that, you have to be a part of the community. You have to grow as a person as well as a fighter. And whatever resources you need to try to get there, we're willing to help you. Every contract that we sign with our fighters, the fighters get a victory bonus for when they win a fight. Every contract we have with the fighters requires them to take part in community service initiatives. And just to touch a little more on Edgar with that, I mean, a 20-year-old kid who, when this tragedy in Puerto Rico happened, I have Edgar calling us and coming up with ideas of different campaigns he can run and different charity functions he can run and asking us how we can help him. And it's like, that's what we're looking for. Like, for a kid to call us and say, what can I do to help other people? I mean, that's everything we're trying to stand for. So, I think he sees that we're in the gyms, we're talking to the fighters. We make sure that, we've actually established a client development team with Chris Sanchez and Kiko Cancel, and they have great relationships with all of our fighters, and it's very important that we maintain constant communication with them to make sure that even if they're not fighting, just check in on them. How's training going? How's your weight? Is there anything that you need right now? And we try to maintain that kind of relationship with our fighters as often as we can. And I think he sees the direction that we're going in, and they're trusting in in our belief and our vision. And I don't know, it wasn't a really hard sell. It was just having an honest conversation with the guy, giving him a fair contract that we thought was exceptional, and it worked out. Thank God for us, because he's a special kid and he's going to do great things in the sport.
What is the criteria for, in terms of when you see a fighter and you say, well, that's the guy we want? What are you looking for in a fighter, for other fighters out there who may want an opportunity?
Look, there are so many different aspects to it. Sometimes listen, obviously, every fighter you sign, you want to be a world champion, but realistically, we know that's not the case. Now, I'll sign a guy because he's a fan-friendly fighter who can make an exciting fight, and even if I don't believe he or she can be a world champion, this is the kind of person I could put on TV or put one of my younger guys in there with and get a gauge as to whether or not my kid could be successful down the road. There's also guys that you sign at a younger age because they had a great amateur background, or they were, you've seen them train and you know what they've been through and you see the story behind it. And other guys you sign because they can sell tickets and they can help you pack your house, and that will help build your brand and your show. So there's several factors as to why you sign somebody, but again, ideally, you have to be realistic and know that not every fighter you sign is going to be even a contender, let alone a world champ. So,
okay, let's talk about a slightly off topic, but not really. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. In terms of the business side of things, Joshua saying, "Well, I'm not really want to fight Wilder now. Maybe we let the fight marinate a lot longer." Deontay Wilder say, "No, let's make the fight happen now. I don't have to fight anybody else. Let us fight now." So from a business standpoint, why do you think Joshua would not want to fight Wilder now? And from Wilder's standpoint, why do you think he'd want to fight Joshua now?
That's a great question. Obviously, I'm not involved with either fighter, and I can't really speak on behalf of the business negotiations. But from the outside looking in, I think Wilder right now, he's in his prime as a heavyweight. He's got close to 40 fights. If not, he has 40 fights already. Been doing this a long time. He's got a great trainer behind him. He's got a great team behind him. He's got a manager and an advisor that really look out for him and have put him in a situation where he can be where he's at. And I think he's a hungry guy who knows that he's right where he needs to be to get these opportunities. As for Joshua hasn't been a pro very long. Wilder's had a much longer career so far than Joshua has. I think from Joshua's standpoint, when you're selling, or even from Eddie Hearns, I don't know who's the reason behind it, but when you're selling 80,000 seats in an arena, that's great business. And again, you're looking out for not just the health and well-being of a fighter, but their financial well-being as well. And when you can pack 80,000 people in there on your own, regardless of who you fight, it's not for me to say. I mean, Evander's mentality was always fight the best whenever you can fight it, and that's what we want our fighters to go by. But at the same time, you throw that kind of money in front of me, I might hard not to change my tune, if anything. So I understand both sides to it, and I don't think anybody's really wrong. I mean, would I like to see the fight? Absolutely. But I'm involved in the industry. A heavyweight fight of that magnitude, do I think that will do what, Holyfield Bo or Tyson Holyfield did? No, I don't, and it's unfortunate because I think that everyone in the sport needs to do a better job of getting their fighters known to the general public, not just the boxing community. We're all guilty of that because so many people are possessive of their fighters and try to keep them as protected as they can. That you're not exposing them to the people that don't generally know them. Get the fighters on talk shows, get them involved in the community, and I think all these guys can start benefiting more by doing things in a more positive manner rather than getting negative attention, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, but it's not a comfortable situation to talk about. I'm not involved with both of them, so I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible.
Yeah, I can understand that totally. Finally, let's talk about Real Deal Boxing. Let's talk about the live stream. Let's talk about the fighters. So sell it to us, to the people that are listening, why they should tune in on November the 18th and where they can see the fights.
We're going to have a great show. We're live streaming the entire event on our website, www.therealdealboxing.com. It's going to be a great card. It's the U.S. debut of Duke Micah, WBC International Bantamweight Champion. I believe he's the current Commonwealth Champion as well. Let me tell you, this kid is a special kid. He's got an infectious personality, very fan-friendly style, very exciting to watch. He's somebody that within a fight or two, I think he'll be ready and willing to fight anybody in the bantamweight division. He's in a tough fight against Jose Santos, who's 23-4. Guys fought tough guys throughout his entire career. This is a great stepping stone for Duke, and I'm hoping he's going to come out. You're also going to see the New York debut of Justin Biggs, who we haven't touched on him too much. I know you spoke to him earlier,
yes,
but he's another very special kid with an amazing story behind him. Extremely humble, well-spoken, articulate, great fighter. Does amazing work outside of the gym and outside of boxing with the community, and he's in for a competitive fight as well. And you'll see Edgar Berlanga, who I think could be the very next Puerto Rican superstar.
Wow.
That's our job to help him get there, but I really have such high aspirations for him that I'm expecting nothing but the best. And you'll see a whole bunch of other Real Deal fighters. We make competitive fights, and we try to make fights where you don't necessarily know who's going to win beforehand. You can maybe have an idea as to who you think is going to win, but we at least want it to be something where they're competitive, where our guys are going to be tested. We don't really want to see 30-second knockouts unless they're legitimate knockouts. So that's the brand we're trying to build, and we hope that everyone enjoys it and keeps tuning in. And the more they tune in, the more shows we'll be able to bring. Of
course, this stream is this a paid stream or is it a free stream?
We are doing a free stream, especially because we want all of our fans in Africa to be able to watch Duke Micah and Frederick Lawson, both from Ghana, both very, very capable and exciting fighters, and both very close to world title contentions. So we're hoping that we're going to use this as an outlet to try to build our audience, build our fan base, and get more people excited about the Real Deal Boxing.
So people listening in, the Real Deal Boxing, November the 18th, will be live and exclusive on the Real Deal Boxing website, and it's free, November the 18th. So the people we're talking to tonight, Justin Biggs, Oscar Berlanga, we'll be talking to Duke Micah as well. And another gentleman will be talking to Oscar. I think it's Oscar. Is it Oscar? I'm not sure.
Edgar Berlanga was the guy.
No, there's a guy we're going to talk to afterwards as well. I think is it Oscar? I'm not sure. Well, I'll check afterwards on my thing. It's another guy I've got to talk to at the end. I've got Duke Micah and one other fighter.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're gonna have a good time with them. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I don't think there's much more we can talk about now. So thank you so much, Eric. Is there anything you want to let other people know before you disappear?
No. Listen, I just hope you all tune into the fight. I hope you enjoy, and we look forward to working with you and your channel, and we appreciate the opportunity you're giving our fighters as well.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much again for your time, Eric, and setting this all up for us today on BWTN Sports. And we'll get in touch with Evander next.
Thank you, Ingram. Have a good one.
I will do. Take care. So there you have it. That is Eric Bentley, the COO, the Chief Operations Officer. When we come back, we will be talking to, live and exclusive, the 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Real Deal Holyfield. Stay tuned. Good evening. Hello. Hello. Is this Evander?
Yeah,
Hey, Evander. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for being on BWTM Sports.
Thank you.
Evander, first and foremost. Yeah, we can hear him. We can hear him. Evander, first of all.
Okay, good.
Evander, first of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do the interview on BWTM Sports.
Okay, thank you.
And as well, congratulations on your career. It's been a fantastic career. People have seen many highlights of your career, fights against Tyson and against Bo, the trilogy. Tell us, what do you think was the ingredients to making you a great fighter?
Well, I think number one was prayer. Well, you know, going to Jesus Christ and three things that my mama taught me: listen, follow direction, don't quit. You know, and those are the things that was necessary to be the very best.
So, Evander, talk to us about. I mean, people have been watching two things in particular: the Riddick Bowe fight. What was it when you first fought Riddick Bowe, a guy so much bigger than yourself, so much stronger than yourself? What was it that gave you the belief that you believed you could beat Riddick Bowe?
In my family, they told me I was a crybaby. So, you know, come back to cry about everything. And my mom worked on me and said, "You son, just don't quit. Your time is come." And, you know,
Okay, Evander's in a car at the moment as we're talking to him, so the connection's it's going to pop in out. Hi, Evander, your connection's a little, can you get, we can't hear you clearly.
what?
Yeah, that's better, that's better. So you're talking about Riddick Bowe, go ahead.
I was saying, about Riddick Bowe.
Evander's in a car driving at the moment. He's in the back seat, so we're just trying to get a connection because of the transport. So we'll get through in a minute.
Can you hear hear me now?
I can hear you better, Evander. Go ahead. No, you're breaking up again, Evander.
That's just an excuse you use to.
Evander's just going under the tunnel. When he gets out the tunnel, we'll be able to talk to him clearly. Hello? There you go. You're not very clear, Evander, at the moment. Okay. We'll get him back in a second. It's just that he's under the tunnel. We'll bring him back in a minute. Once we get him back from under the tunnel, we'll be able to hear him. Hi, so we're out the tunnel now. So go ahead, Evander.
Well, what happened? Game fight mode, and that's my first setback in that fight, and and one of the things I fought in the wrong way. Then in the second fight I was able to make the adjustment. After I made the adjustment, I was able to win. Becoming 3-time heavyweight champion of the world.
One of the things that were really great about your career, and almost a trademark, is that there were times you were hurt and you were able to come back each and every time. How are you able to do that in big fights, Evander?
Well, back to the mountain, you believe that you can and you do it. You can believe that you can and you won't. But it's all these things are the things that in test fortitude, perseverance, meaning that you can do these things that you truly believe you can do, and you demonstrate these things kind of on a daily basis. When you don't feel like going to practice, you do practice. You feel like quitting, but you don't quit. So if you don't quit in practice, you do the good work. Before the fight comes, there's a good chance that you can do it even when the fight is fighting.
Okay, the fight you had with Mike Tyson, the original fight that was cancelled, did you think you would have beaten Mike that night had you fought, compared to when you fought him in the end and did beat him?
Well, of course, I feel that I never go into a fight not thinking I can win.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to go to a fight if you don't believe you're going to win. So I had that type of attitude about anything. If I'm not going to do it right, I don't even want to do it.
What was it that gave you the belief that you would have beaten Mike Tyson? The fight before that against Bobby Chairs, people thought, oh, Holyfield doesn't look great here. And then I remember saying to people, look, I'm putting some money down. Holyfield's beating Tyson tonight. And you went out and you beat Mike Tyson. What was it from the Bobby Chairs fight to the Tyson fight? You were just totally two different fighters. What was it? Was it the event? Was it the magnitude? Was it the fighter? What was it?
I was fighting by the chest. 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 And so, of course, Mike Tyson has to be the only fighter that I was really totally focused when it came down to Mike Tyson. I knew what I was up against, and I knew that I was fighting a guy who was going to be in his very best. He was going to fight his fight. And I knew I had to fight mine, and I knew I had to have faith that's necessary to compete.
Okay, your fights against Lennox Lewis, the first one and the second one. Tell us what the biggest, most memorable thing about those two fights for Lennox Lewis, and how good a fight was Lennox Lewis at the time?
fight or not. I believe I beat him in second time here now. And so, but you know, because I made a mistake by telling them I was going to retire, but I tell others they were champion of the world, so they felt that it don't benefit them if I retire, and it kind of messed the game up. So it was kind of sad to for them to not give me what belongs to me, but because they didn't give me what belongs to me, I became full-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Absolutely. The fight against yourself and Valuev, I thought that was a fight that you actually won. Why do you think you didn't get the decision against Valuev?
Well, it's because the people who were putting on the show, that was their fighter, and they felt that they could, and they felt that wasn't nobody going to do anything, wasn't nobody going to press no charges, and like that, which is kind of sad. And that was kind of you know, kind of tick people off, get people upset. But, you know, things like that have happened to me all my whole life. But, you know, you have to overcome those some type of things too. You can't make it bigger than what it really is. You know, people saw me, you know, and that's kind of, you look at me as 5-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, you were almost 5-time heavyweight. You should have been 5-time heavyweight champion of the world, not 4-time after the Valuev fight. Now let's talk about going to promotions. What was it that made you go into promotions?
Well, the fact of the matter is that I realized that I still want to be part of boxing, and I was trying to figure out what would be the best way for the sport, not so much for me. So, when I looked at that, I looked at it that the big part of appreciation is giving back. So I thought that, okay, then I'm going to give back. I'm going to go out and tell the people how I became full-time heavyweight champion of the world, which I knew if I tell them that, then they're going to break my record. So I chose to make the boxing go to another level. Someone in the boxing game has to tell the young fighters that what it takes. But, you know, with me as a kid, someone told me what it takes. So, you know, you have to pass the knowledge. If you pass the knowledge, the record's always broken.
Okay, so why did you go down the promotional route instead of being a trainer? Because that's another way you could have passed comments or passed your wisdom down.
You said, what?
Why did you go down the promotional route and not be a trainer instead, or be a boxing coach?
Well, you know, to be a trainer and a boxing coach, that's just like being a dad. You know, I got 11 children already. I really do have to be a dad. I don't want to go back to that level, you know, with fighters.
Right.
So, but I can that it would be better for me to give everybody an opportunity. I didn't want no enemy. So I think as a promoter, you don't have an enemy because you tell everybody if you want to be champion, you need to get on that real deal team. Now I give you an opportunity now, but you got to do it. Now I can't make you a champion. I give you an opportunity to be a champion. And so that's what the truth is really about in life. Can't nobody make you do anything. They can give you an opportunity, and you have to make a best of your opportunity.
Fantastic. So now you being as a promoter, what does it feel like when you see other fighters fighting? Do you ever get the itch to still want to box?
No itches. You know, I think I've been hit enough that I know that I won't be hitting no more.
When,
But thing is to be able to pass it on. You know, I had my chance. I did the very best that I could do with what I knew at that time. And so, you know, anything now, and if I get an itch or anything now, I'm willing to be able to give the information to somebody, and hopefully they will listen and follow them direction.
how much is your faith been a driving force in your career as a public figure and as a private figure?
Well, my faith is my life, but that's the only thing that allows me to overcome all these different situations, events that I didn't even choose. You know, I'm like, I didn't choose my parents. Don't nobody choose their parents. Don't nobody choose certain fans. And all they, it's a lot of things that you don't choose. But by you having that mother who taught me about Jesus and taught me about, faith, and believe that, and people trying to get people not to believe. And, but, even though a lot of people say the wrong thing, but if you eventually believe, you eventually get where you're going. So I chose to be a believer, and I know that I will be invested in that, yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the heavyweight division today? Where would Evander Holyfield be today with the likes of Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder? Where would Evander Holyfield be today in your mind?
It's all depends on who came in my life at that time. I think if I had the same makeup that I am today, and you were to bring my style to their style, my style, I feel my style is capable enough to do it.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua? And if they both were to fight next year, who would you start as the favorite? Evander, who would you put as the favorite between Joshua and Wilder should they fight in 2018?
Well, it all depends on both of the individuals. I think the first three rounds, I would think that Deontay would be great. But I think anything after three, Anthony Joshua, he's a complete fucker.
Oh, I think we're going in another tunnel. Hello? Yep, Evander's under another tunnel. You there? Hello? 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 I think he's gone under the tunnel for a second. Yep, Evander's under the tunnel again. So we have it. We're talking to Evander Holyfield, finding about. He says that within the first three rounds, Deontay Wilder stands a very good chance against Joshua. But after three rounds, he thinks that Joshua could take over. So Deontay Wilder have to do it in the first three rounds. Let me just get Evander back a second. Okay, the reception isn't very good at the moment with Evander, so we might try and get him back a little later because I know they're traveling at the moment in transit. But it was good to hear from Evander. Let me see if we can we'll try again and see if we can get a hold of him because I know they are traveling. They're in a car and they're traveling under tunnels. It's not going to help, but let's see if we can get them back. But it's still under the tunnel, so we're going to have to keep it moving. It was great to hear from Evander. I'm sure that once he gets to a nice spot, we probably can get something more from him. But at the moment in time, let's move on. Let's keep it moving with the show. We've still got to speak to Duke Micah, so we'll try and get him on the show. Give us a second. We're going to bring Duke Micah next into the room. Hello, Evander. Okay, great. So let's talk about you, the promoter, just to wrap things up, because I know you're traveling and you're pretty busy. So let's talk about you as a promoter now. The fighters that we've spoken to so far have spoken a lot about you as a mentor. Talk to us about the importance of you being a mentor to these fighters now that are under your stable, and why you take the time to spend with those fighters. Hello? Yeah, I was asking you, being a mentor to your fighters, how important do you find that role being now, the mentor to fighters?
Well, the big thing is being a mentor, I want to be able to help all the fighters. So, and I know I have valuable information because I've been short boxer at the age of 8 years old. I did it the right way. I listened. I followed the regs. I didn't quit. And so I'm trying to tell my fighters and give them the opportunity. Anytime they have questions, they can ask me because I've been through it all. That ain't nothing that I hadn't been through. And so, but one of the most important thing I allow them to know and say, look, now, everybody got bad habits, but there's no reason to pick up somebody else's bad habits. So, I say, so before you just start copying somebody, you want to find out if it's right or wrong. Like that, because it's easy to maintain than to rebuild. You don't have nothing up, you got to you got to worry about fixing it.
When I see there are a lot of great fighters out there that have been great fighters in the ring, but when they leave the ring, they seem to carry this sort of persona where I'm a great fighter, you can't talk to me. Why does Evander Holyfield why have you taken that approach to be more warm and hospitable to fighters rather than being aloof like some other heavyweight fighters?
Well, the fact of the matter, my mama told me, regardless of how good I ever become, I can never be more than a man.
Right.
And so you respect the next man. So like that. So when it's all said and done, this whole world only gets better when you look out for that person who gonna be looking out for you later. It's like you take care of your kids because you know what? Their kids may be the one that gonna take care of you. So the grandkids like this. So I'm just I got an opportunity to see that my grandmother really loved me. And me and my brother, we would fight over because my time to push it. Because when she was in a wheelchair, we put in that wheelchair, she loved going fast, and we going fast as we can, and ride on there with her. It was amazing that my grandmother was really upset with my mother because my mother had 9 kids. And then my grandmother told me, she said, I didn't realize that I got my hair combed 4 times a day because all the girls would, one of them put in a style, another one put in another style, and so I get my hair combed 4 times a day. And so, then with all the boys and stuff, I was never ever afraid because I got all these big old boys around me and stuff like this, and it was like, they had a great time. And, you know, so it lets you know that, you know, it's about family. You know, but one thing you can't really love yourself if you can't love your family.
What are your thoughts on the current heavyweight division in general, Evander, and how it's going?
I think it's picking up. I think that, you know, with Anthony Joshua, with Parker, and with Deontay, I'm telling you, these are real young guys who willing to do what's necessary to become one undisputed champion. So and hopefully next year we'll have our next undisputed champion. Because regardless of how many titles is, at least the federation should come together. At least like every 5 years, just try to find out who the best and all that. Then if it break up again, then you know every 5 years they always try to put it back together. This is the way that everybody's really working together.
What are your thoughts on the return of the potential return of Vladimir Klitschko?
Excuse me?
Vladimir Klitschko coming back.
Is he coming back?
It seems so. He was in the gym a couple of days ago. He says, "I've still got it."
I thought he said he was, and he changed his mind and said he wasn't coming back.
Well, it seems like he's coming back, and that was only 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that means that you got some news that I didn't get. I don't know how you got that news before I got it, but it's okay. I actually think, you know, I sometimes when you make that first decision, maybe you have right decision to go about your business. You know, but if he feels that, I think every man has to make the decision for themselves. And like that, you know, but I don't think that you can take a lot of time off and go back. It don't work that way. Especially when you boy, I think you got to be about 47'8". You know, it can be too late.
2 more questions, Evander. Last 2 questions. One is regarding Tyson Fury. What are your thoughts on him making his comeback now, back in the gym and getting the weight off?
Well, I think, you know, I hope people do well, but you know, I think sometimes when you had your opportunity and you blow it, it's just hard to come back. But it don't mean that you can't. And you know, he would have to show up, do something a little different to get somebody respect that they really want to take it seriously. Sometimes people don't. You know, a lot of people don't forgive, and they remind you of your mistakes and all that. And but if to each his own, if he chooses to pay that price, then that show you how good he was.
Got a question here. Somebody asked the question, Evander, how do you neutralize a great right hand? Somebody who's got a real big punch with the right hand, how do you neutralize it?
Well, it depends on if you left-handed or right-handed. You know, when a person trying to hit you with a right hand and you right hand, I think it's kind of easy. When you left-handed, you know, it's a lot easier to hit a left-hander with that right hand than hit that guy that a right-hander too, because you all your weight on the back foot for him to hit you with that right hand. He got to be real quick and all this. But you know, if you left-handed, you either hit the left hand with that right hand because his head right there by your hand already.
Okay, final question of the night, Evander. I was only a couple of days ago. I was on. I went retro and played my Mega Drive, and I played Evander Holyfield's boxing. How did that come about? Yourself in a video game?
Well, I just seen the heavyweight champion of the world, and I think that Sega came out with the first one. Sega came out with the first one. I ain't know nothing about the computer and stuff like that. My son that was about 6 years old, Beat me the game. The one you do that. After the game was interesting, and the head and got fighting exactly just like me. Somehow they did it. They did it right. And it was such a good game, but I never learned how to play it.
You never learned how to play it, but yet there's a game of you. Wow. By the way, I never got to beat you. By the way, you always seem to knock me out every time. So, never mind. We've got people in the room. We've got one person who wants to ask you a question. Says, "Are you getting into the movie business?"
Well, I would have been in the movie business if it was up to me. I always thought it was good. It's amazing now. I have like 2 or 3 offers now for people who want me to do different parts, and I'm gonna go try. At least I'm gonna give it my best. But I don't run as fast as I used to, and I don't move as good as I used to. But maybe I may be good in another area that I wasn't then.
Maybe in a Rocky movie, maybe, Evander.
I don't like somebody even thinking about hitting me now. All that should be over. No more hit. Can't hit Evander. We don't like shit no more.
Evander, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time you've given us for the interview today. It's I've been looking at you since many years. A big fan from a little boy. You inspired me. And I want to say thank you. And of course, people in the room want to thank you as well. And we're wishing the promotion all the best. We'll be tuning in to watch the fights on November the 18th. And we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evander. Thank you. So there we have it. Evander Holyfield. We don't want to take too much of the Real Deal's time up, but there we go. That's Evander Holyfield we just spoke to there. And we still have more to come. We now have Duke Micah coming in the room. Give us a second. We're going to have Duke Micah, another one fighting a belt from the UK. Let's see, get him in the room. Bear with us. Our next fighter will be in the room shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, next in the room from the Real Deal Boxing roster, we're talking to Cesar Francis. Cesar, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my brother. How's everything?
Very good, thank you. Very good. So tell us, Cesar, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born in San Miguelito, Panama.
Okay.
I started boxing at the age of 10. My uncle, my mother told me to, come down to the boxing gym.
Okay.
But before that, I was always boxing in the streets of Panama. Before I even took it serious, I was boxing in the streets of Panama. For a little change, just to keep a little change in my pocket.
So Panama. Now, who do I know from Panama? Was Duran from Panama?
Yes, Duran from Panama. Correct.
Right. So who else was from Panama?
And if you say it again.
Who else is from? I know that Duran's from Panama, but there's another fighter from Panama as well.
Elayo Zapata from Panama.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name.
I'm not familiar with that name. Tell me who he is.
He was a featherweight. Was he a lightweight or a featherweight? Flyweight. He was actually flyweight.
Okay. I don't know him.
Strawweight.
That's why I don't. Strawweight.
He never become champion.
He never became champion.
Flyweight. Ese es my nombre. Panama. you know Martinez?
Yes, Martin. Yes.
Yes. So we train under the same camp. We train with the same trainer.
Okay.
My uncle Gio Guzman.
Yes.
Francisco Guzman.
Yes.
That's my uncle. That's who trained. That's who made Martinez world champion. That's the guy that trained me. So
wow.
we train in the same camp. We come. I come from a good corner. I got a great corner.
So for people who don't know who Guzman was, to let people know who Guzman was.
Guzman, Francisco Guzman.
Yes.
Is a very popular. He's a very popular boxing trainer in Panama. He probably won Trainer of the Year about 5 times.
Right.
In Panama.
Okay.
And he's living here in Brooklyn, New York now. That's who I'm training with.
Okay. Okay. So what weight do you fight at, Cesar?
Well, this weight is 143, I believe, but we're going to 140. So between 140 and 147, that's the weight we're fighting.
Okay, light welterweight. Correct. Okay.
Correct.
So what's your record, champ? What's your record, champ?
Right now I'm 2-0. I'm 2-0, but after Saturday I'll be 3-0.
That's the confidence I like to hear. So what sort of style do you have, Cesar?
Say it again.
What sort of a style do you have?
I can't hear you.
Sorry. What sort of a style do you have, Cesar?
You said what kind of super style? What kind of?
No. What kind of a boxing style do you have?
Oh, boxing style?
Yeah.
I got the Panamanian style. Panamanian style. That's in and out at all times. You gotta understand what I'm saying. Don't stay out too much. Just keep boxing, moving, and stay out the way. Land those punches. That 1-2 is a good Panamanian punch.
So slip and slide and stay to the side.
Exactly. Don't stay too close to the fire.
That's right. Get in, do your business, get out, and when you get out, don't get caught.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
That's the epitome itself.
Listen, that is hit and not, that is the hit and not get hit style. That's what it is.
Absolutely. we want to create business at the bottom. So let's try to not get hit too much.
Yeah, I get that very much. So I think I definitely subscribe to that one. You know, the best chin in the world is the one that don't get hit.
Absolutely. Come in, come out, and you have a good time after.
Wow, it's true. You know, the thing is, we laugh about it because we know that, you know, taking punches isn't fun. It isn't fun.
Absolutely.
Listen, it's
And
great.
I'll show that style. I would show that style come Saturday night. I'll show you exactly the energy style.
That's what it's about.
Stay out. Don't stay in too much. Get the hell out of there.
Exactly. You know why? Because we know in this business that getting hit isn't fun. It isn't nice. It's one thing.
You know. One thing is the fans they like it though. The fans.
Oh yeah, of course fans like it.
When you get a hit, they like that shit.
No, it's all right. You go. Keep it real.
But you know, as a fighter, you just can't do what the fan wants you to do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Because at the end of the day, you're the fighter.
Of course.
But let me tell you something. When it comes to Panamanian style, comes excitement. So trust me, there will be excitement. I will make the fans happy without getting hit.
Of course, but you know what? You know, there is a thing about guys that don't stand in a pocket and have a war that somehow they're not good fighters. I think they're more intelligent fighters, those who hit and don't get hit.
Very intelligent. Look at Anthony Joshua. How you got a heavyweight doing stuff like that? Come on. If a heavyweight can do it, why can't a war do what he's doing?
So why not? Get in there, do your business, get out.
You know, the guy, no, move. Quick, let his hands go. Get out of there. Show your boxing skills. Don't show that you can only just take a punch. Show that you can also give a punch. You know, get out of there. You know, it's look, at the end of the day, it's boxing. It's boxing. It's not called slugging.
Now, people are asking questions. Organic Fitness asked the question, are you from Queens, New York?
No. I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York. I train in Queens, New York.
Okay. It says New Yorkers have great personalities. I tell you something. Listening to you, I would have thought I'm talking to Paulie Malignaggi.
That's my man. I respect him. He taught me a lot. Always, every time he gives me advice, I take that advice and I'll just run with it.
Okay.
Always take advice from a champion. That's one thing.
You know, there's certain people I talk to via do interviews, and there's some people, you know, you can go there with, and there's some guys who's dry and crass. You can't go, you're not flexible. With you, I think we can talk about a whole load of stuff. Now, let's talk about.
You know what? So call me every day.
Listen, if I call you every day, well, it would be fun. I think it'd be exciting. I can actually say we can make this quite fun. We can make it really exciting. Listen, let's talk about. Let's flip this on its head. The typical how's your training camp. Let's forget all that. Let's talk a bit about social media for a second. Talk to me about the influences of social media in your life and in your career.
Well, my career is it's doing good. But I'm noticing that social media can also destroy a fighter too. You see a fighter, you know, he might be doing too good, and then social media pumps him up too much, and then the guy takes a loss because he's following the fame. Like, you know, it's just too much hype. Or then you see a guy that like Severn that caught that knockout last week, and then it looks terrible on him because social media is making it look bad. But you know what? It's boxing. Boxing is okay. Fuck it, he took a hit, he got knocked out. I mean, it was a bad knockout, but he got knocked out, and then social media just laughed. It look terrible.
Well, hey.
Man, it's crazy.
I was the only one. I was the only one who interviewed the brother afterwards. I interviewed the brother a couple of days after he got knocked out. And if you check my YouTube channel, yeah, I interviewed it because he's close to the channel. If I had, and it was on video as well, if I could show you that sort of comments that came out of the YouTube channel was absolutely disgusting. This guy's got, you know, a missus and kids, and people are so disgusting. It's unbelievable. But yet none of them would say it to his face.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know one thing that they never did. Let me tell you one thing they never did. They never became champion, and he did.
Exactly.
So what that tells you right there.
Exactly.
He deserves some type of respect. He became world champion. Let's not forget that.
But the thing,
he got knocked out, but he became world champion.
but the thing that boggles me, and I can't,
That goes down in history.
I can't get it right. He got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. He didn't get knocked out by some bum or some unknown. He got knocked out. Exactly. But people don't get that.
And then he took that fight on a comeback fight. Look at that. Look at that. He took that fight on a comeback fight. But you know what? Let's give our respect to Anthony. Who was it that he was fighting?
Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder. Let's give the respect to the man, because he went in there. He did his job.
There you go. There you go. So, what do you make of the whole beef between Joshua and Wilder, in your opinion?
I love it, man. I love it. It's good. It's good.
What did?
Two champions, two great champions. I can't say who's gonna win or two different styles. I believe the bomber comes straight to fight. I believe Anthony Joshua is more of a boxer. He's gonna hit and he's not gonna get hit. No, that's just his style. But you know, look, listen, styles make fights, and let's see who takes it home that night.
Okay.
I love it. It's good. It's good for boxing. It's good for the heavyweight. No heavyweight. The heavyweight division is on fire, and I love it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the low weight division, Rigondeaux and Lomachenko. I mean, that Lomachenko is a guy that, you know, he's massively talented, but he has got a lot of hype behind him as well.
Listen, the guy is talented. Let's give him that.
Yeah.
He's talented, but look, he has a good box in front of him this coming December, and we're gonna see what he's gonna do with it. Look, listen. He's not every other fighter that Lomachenko fought. This guy is different. This guy has style. This guy has movement. You know, look at his fight. Everybody say, "Oh, you know what? He's boring," because he moves too much. Too much movement. This guy's different. So let's see. You know, styles make fights. Somebody's gonna take it home. Somewhere.
So who would you put your money on between Rigondeaux and Lomachenko? Do you think size will make a difference?
I tell you Rigondeaux. He might listen at me like I'm crazy. I tell you Rigondeaux.
You're taking Rigondeaux?
I take the Cubano. Yeah, I take the Cubano.
Why is that?
I take the Cubano. I don't know. I like him. I actually been watching him more.
Yeah.
I've been watching Lomachenko, but even though I respect Lomachenko and I love Lomachenko, I go with the Cuban. I go with him. Have you
been listening to some of the things they're saying? He's one of the greatest fighter in the world at the moment. HBO have said he's the greatest fighter in the world, pound for pound, #1. I'm like, excuse me? And that's when Ward was still fighting.
Nah, he has more to show. I don't think it's, I don't know, pound for pound. I don't know. It's too quick. But you know what? That's media, and once again, that goes back to your question. That's social media again. That's social media. What they say. You know, they build fighters up. Let's see if he can come out and show it up to something against Rigondeaux.
If he takes an L, look, if Lomachenko takes an L to Rigondeaux, where does that put Lomachenko?
Oh, I don't know. I think he got to go up and wait. He's gonna have to go up and wait. I don't know who else in that weight class.
But wait, hold on. He's pound for pound one of the greatest fighters according to HBO. This man comes from 2 weight divisions up and gives you an L. That ain't gonna look good, is it?
It's not gonna look good at all.
That's not a good look.
Let's see what he can do. Because the guy's excited. Let's not forget he's pretty excited.
Yeah, but it's exciting against what skill set? Now he's going to come up against a guy that is as skilled or maybe more skilled than himself.
Absolutely. You know what? At the same level. So let's see what's going to happen. This is going to be a great fight. I love it.
So do I.
Boxing is a good game. Boxing is a good game, man. People hate it. It was losing some love, but you know what? I see it coming back up.
Okay.
And I'm glad that I'm here to be a part of it.
Okay.
And we'll show up.
Now you tell me, give me your take on the Danny Jacobs Arias fight. Well, the pre-fight, may I say, because there was no fight.
It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight. It was a sparring match for Danny.
It was. What was all that about? He told you better stand in the middle of the ring. Don't run. Don't run. And then what happened?
Yeah, man. Like you know, talking all that shit. And then,
Yeah.
When it's time to fight, you know, I don't get it. But you know what? Danny went in there. I respect that guy. He went in there. He did his job, and he got it done. I love him. I love his energy, his style, his confidence. Man, this is Brooklyn. You know, this is Brooklyn, man.
But
we go hard out here. This is Brooklyn.
Okay, now we're really gonna go somewhere now. Let me really go there. Brooklyn. Let's talk about one Danny Garcia. And
Danny Garcia who?
And hold on, wait for the name. Ray Robinson.
Come on, man. Don't disrespect me.
Well, listen. You go first.
Those guys, man. Those guys was no joke. Like, listen. For some reason, I feel like boxing has been watered down.
Right.
Since those guys have been in the game.
Right.
Since they've been in the game, and that's just my honest opinion. I'm a professional boxer myself, and I can say that.
Right.
You know, this is my third professional fight. I'm fighting a guy that's 4-1 with one draw. And when they asked me, do you want to make it a 4-rounder? I looked around and I said, no. For what? This guy, he has enough fights to fight 6 rounds. Why not fight the guy 6 rounds? You know?
Yeah.
That's called taking chances.
Now,
2 fights. I only have 2 fights. I'm 2-0, and I'm taking a fight. I'm not an Olympian, but you know what? I got that confidence. I got that enemy style. I'm gonna show.
That sounds good. I like that. Danny Garcia. Well, according to Ray Robinson, he's I think he's between he's light welter and welterweight. He said to me that he spars Danny Garcia and he whoops him 9 times out of 10. In his terms, this is what he said. He said, I beat the shit out of Danny Garcia 9 times out of 10, and the 10th time I feel sorry for him. He said Danny Garcia, he's got no respect for Danny Garcia because he doesn't want to fight real fighters. What are your thoughts on that? He's been calling him out all the time. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I feel like Danny proves to us that, you know what, he can fight.
Yeah.
Danny proves to us that he has some type of heart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, Danny's good. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I wouldn't say he's like a, you know, they call him a cherry picker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's social media view. They call Danny a cherry picker. But
they call cherry picker, yeah.
And that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Say it again?
You said cherry picker. That's what they're calling him, a cherry picker at the moment. But is he? But isn't he entitled to that though? To a point.
I don't know. I feel like that's the people behind him. That's the people that, you know, he trying to tell our own y'all or out aiming or what those people. I mean, I feel like they put him to fight these people and he gets it done. Look, listen, when he fought Keith Thurman the last fight.
Yeah.
He had to fight. He had to show some type of balls, and he did that. He did it. They went 12 rounds, and he showed, you know what? I'm here. Is he a cherry picker? Maybe. Maybe. But, you know, he does what he has to do. He fights, and he's once again, like I said before with Stubborn, he's a world champion. So you have to respect that.
Yep. What about Errol Spence? Is he a myth, or is he a good fighter? Here we go. And I know his trainer very well.
Oh shit! God damn, that boy Earl Smith. You know what? For some reason, I like him. I like him, and I like all the boys from Texas. I
They just come to fight.
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
Something about them. They come to fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
They come to fight. Wow, great fighter, man. Great
Absolutely.
Fighter. Great name for you to throw out there, man. Great fighter.
Absolutely. And your boy Paulie Malignaggi, talk to me about him and the Conor McGregor thing and your opinion of it.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Paulie was doing him a favor. That just trying to show him some stuff, and it boiled up. That's how I feel.
But I'm baffled. I don't understand. You've been out of the ring for a certain amount of time. You've put on a certain amount of weight. What the hell are you going in the ring sparring with a guy who's in good nick? I don't get the point of it. I didn't understand it.
I don't know. I feel like even though he wasn't in the top shape, he still had his boxing skills. But you know what? Condition beats ambition. Yeah. And condition beats ambition.
And
when you have condition, it beats ambition. So it don't matter what kind of style Paulie was trying to do. I feel like McGregor was in a better shape, and probably just took advantage of that.
But
it's Paulie. It's Paulie still one of my favorites.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is, look, if Paulie was a puncher, like he was a Julian Jackson or a Golovkin or a guy who could really crack with both hands, or at least one hand could really punch, then he was going in the ring and saying, no, I'm a bit out of shape, but I'm going to step to you. Then I would have could have understood that. But because Paulie, with all due respect, is not a puncher, that's kind of like.
I don't think Paulie should have went there, but look, everybody has their reasons why they do things, and Paulie probably had a reason why. He probably went back and told Mayweather, yo, let's die far. He probably did that for a reason.
Yeah, but
Mayweather probably do him a check on the side and tell him, go over there, go spot him, come back and let me know how they do.
Yeah, probably. But the thing is, would you want to see that rematch? Would you want to see that rematch?
Hell no.
Hell no. Okay, let me give you another one. Oscar De La Hoya versus McGregor.
Oh man, I see it all over social media. I think the same thing's gonna happen to McGregor. I think De La Hoya's gonna stop him too. Listen, McGregor, stay in your fucking sport. Stay where you at. Stupid at. This boxing stuff is not me, my brother.
He says he runs boxing.
Yeah, I don't know why he wants. This is
Wow. I don't know what to say. I really don't know. Okay, as we're about to finish the interview, let people know where they can find you, and let people know where they can find you. We're definitely going to be talking again soon, son, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Find me at IB_Rainman. That's on Instagram, Facebook, of course, Cesar Francis, CESARFRANCIS. That's my last name. Twitter, Rainman. That's all I have. And brother, you can call me anytime you want. I love this. It's great.
Thank you, brother. We've got great chemistry. Again, let the fans know who you are. Let the fans know what your name is and who you are again, and what division you're in, and when you're fighting.
My name is Cesar Francis. They call me the Rain Man. I'll be fighting November 18th, 2017, this coming Saturday at the Resort World Casino in Queens. Come out, check me out. I will make it thunder. I will make it rain.
Brother, I'm so looking forward to seeing you fight. Everyone that's in the stream watching this at the moment will be watching you fight on Saturday night live stream, and it's free so everyone can watch you fight. I'm so happy to have met you, and man, you're just a breath of fresh air, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
All the best. So there you have it there, the man. What a character. Oh, what a real character he is. I mean, no disrespect to all the other guys. They've been great tonight. But he is one hell of a character, isn't he? You've got to say he is. Let's see. Well, we've got one more person to talk to tonight by the name of Duke Micah. Duke Micah. We should be getting him any moment now. Let's go straight and get Duke Micah. I'll be with you in a second. Just bear with me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our final fighter of the night from the Real Deal Boxing promotion. It's going to be on November the 18th. You'll be able to see the fight live and exclusive on Real Deal Boxing TV, which is on their website. The stream will be free. Now, the final fight of the night is Duke Micah. Duke, how are we doing?
I'm good.
Great to have you in the room. For those people who don't know who Duke Micah is, very quickly, let people know your record, your weight, and if you have any belts.
Okay, I'm 20 fights, winning all and 18 by way of knockout.
Okay. And do you have any belts?
And bantamweight.
You're bantamweight. Okay. And do you have any belts?
Commonwealth champion.
Pardon?
And Commonwealth champion.
Okay. So you're the Commonwealth champion. You're 20 and up. You're 20 fights. 18 by 18. You say 18 by KO. Did you say?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you know Isaac Dogba by any chance? I meant to ask you.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked to Isaac the other day. Okay, so let's talk about your career and how you got into boxing, Duke. How did you get into boxing, Duke?
Okay, it's a long story, but I will give you a small.
Okay.
You understand? When I was 7 years old, they used to beat me home, and okay, let me say somebody introduced me to boxing, but I'm not interested much, but I love to fight home. You understand? But they used to beat me. My aunties, my father, they used to beat me with no reason because I'm too harsh. So, I decided to learn boxing because of my auntie is worrying me at home and he's tall, when you see the body language, I'm like tiny. So I decided to learn boxing. You understand? So that I will come back and defeat her. But not knowing, I found my talents around the gym when I started practicing to defeat my auntie home. But I want to say big thanks to God that yes, something like that happened to me, and today I'm a boxer.
Wow. I know people know you from the UK, boxing in the UK. When you were boxing in the UK, tell us the guys that you fought when you were in the UK.
Oh, Manchichanda, one best boxer in UK. He forced himself Manchichanda for Commonwealth title.
Okay. And tell us about that fight.
Oh, it was a great fight. Manchichanda prepared himself very well because he know that the guy is coming to fight this strong guy. So he prepared very well. And it was a good fight all the way in the UK the day.
Okay. And since you've become Commonwealth champion, what has that done for your career?
Oh, I'm reading up because now, as you can see, now I'm a WBC international champion.
Yes.
I'm still working. My managers are working, so I'm still in spirit.
So let's talk about how you met Evander Holyfield. How did that happen?
Okay, God knows everything. It depends on my managers. They work hard, and myself, I work hard because this is my dream, and my dream has come true. So I'm using this opportunity, to be in the world, to become a world champion. To anybody in my weight class, bantamweight, I'm ready to face everybody in the world because this is my dream, and I started this not today. At the age of 8 years, so I have something to do in boxing. I have history to write in boxing. So watch out for Duke Micah. He's coming.
So in the bantamweight division, who are the guys that you'd like to face in the bantamweight division? Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to fight?
I don't want to mention anybody's name. I don't want to know anybody's name. But I want to fight anybody who is in my way now.
Oh, so
I'm ready. That's why now I'm under Evander Holyfield. So I have to prove to the world that I'm the best. So I need the person that who said is the best to come out so that we can make it.
Okay, we talked to. Go ahead. We talked to Eric Bentley earlier on, and he said to us that the fighter you're against is a tough fight for you. Talk to us about your opponent.
Okay, well, he's a 24 fight and 4 loss. He's a good boxer, and you know I don't underrate any fighter. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't underrate any fighter. He's a good boxer. So I'm still working hard so that I can defeat him. You understand? And I'm gonna beat him.
Okay. So what's your style like, Duke? For the people who have never seen you box before, what's your style like?
Oh, I'm both, you know, in and out. I'm craft, you know. Yeah, I'm craft.
You're a smart one.
You love how I'm fighting, you know.
Okay. Who's your inspiration? Who do you look up to in boxing?
Okay, as you can see, whoever helped himself, you have to mention the name. A good name, you have to. Somebody like Mayweather, you know, inspire me.
Okay.
Yeah, Miguel Coro, yeah. Those people, Joshua Clotin, Ike Bazuga, them, Agboko. You know, I have a lot of people that inspire me.
So when I talk about fighters, a couple of guys from Ghana that come to my mind. Ike Bazooka Quartet. Tell me about him.
He was a very good job. You know, he was a very good, strong man who can stand, receive punch. You know, he can hit you with good jabbing.
Yes.
So
he's a very good fighter.
Very well, yeah. Strong man.
Very good man. What about Azuma Nelson?
Okay, Azuma Nelson too is a very good boxer, but you know, he's the greatest boxer of all time. So you know, as you can see, I mentioned the name Ike Bazuga. Ike Bazuga too is a very good man who can jab.
Yes.
Azuma Nelson have all the stars. So I love Azuma Nelson. I love Ike. I respect them all. I want to become like them in future. So this is the way.
And Richard Comey. Talk to us about Richard Comey for the moment.
Okay, Richard Comey too is a very good fighter and durable. You know, Richard Comey is a guy who don't give up because he know what he's doing. You understand? So he's a very good fighter as well.
Okay.
Richard Comey is a very good fighter.
What do you make of the fight between Rigondeaux and Lomachenko, and who do you think is going to win?
I believe much in Lomachenko.
Okay.
Because Lomachenko too is a very good fighter. You know, inspire me a lot. So it's a good fighter. It's a good fighter.
Okay. So what can people expect of you on the night, November 18th?
Good win. You know, I'm winning. You know, I'm not going there to play. I'm going there to win.
Okay.
Because I want to challenge the best fighters. So I'm going there to do my job. After I finish, I'll come down and, you know, prepare myself to the next level.
That sounds fantastic.
So,
Eric thinks that you're on the verge of a world title shot. How does that make you feel?
I'm feeling great.
Okay.
I'm feeling great, and I want it to happen. You know, that's why you can see the name of my business, Real Deal. You know, so we are in the real deal. So we have to prove ourselves. You know,
absolutely.
Whoever is ready, we are ready. You know.
Yes. So finally, Duke, how do people follow you on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram? How do people follow you?
My Facebook account is Duke Micah.
Okay.
Twitter account is Duke Micah 1.
Okay. So Organic Fitness says, ask Micah Duke if he's from the Ga tribe, the warrior tribe. They are warrior tribe. Are you from the Gah tribe?
Yeah. Bukum, yeah.
Bukum, yes.
Tribe, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He is.
We grow up, yeah.
Okay.
That's where we grow up, so we're not afraid of fighting, you know? We are ready to face everybody in the world.
Okay. All right. Duke Micah, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports, and we look forward to watching you on the free stream November 18th, looking to see you in action and taking one step closer to getting a world title shot. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, and I thank Amu Bidiaku and the promoter, Real Deal Promotion. And Duke Obiswani, I want to say big thanks to all of my managers and promoters, and as you as well, I want to say big thanks to you for this interview. Yeah.
You take care, champ, and we'll see you soon. Take care and all the best.
That's it. Thank you.
Take care. So there we go. We've gone through the main fighters taking part on that bill on November the 18th. Remember, www. It's the Real Deal Boxing. You'll be able to see those fights live stream. Now, I have some interesting information for you all before you go. Those people who stuck around, we've got some more information for you. I've got 3 people that have things to say to BWTM Sports. First of all, these are some breaking news. We have Tom Little that will be on the show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We're talking to Tom Little. Now, here's a person you may or may not know. His name is Daniel Franco. Daniel Franco was the young boxer who got hit and knocked out, unfortunately, in the first round, and he was on the Rock Nation. And we're going to find out, supposedly the story is that basically Rock Nation turned their back on this young man, Daniel Franco, and he'll be giving us an exclusive interview. So we'll be talking to Daniel Franco as well. And we've got Josh Sanderlin as well. And we'll be talking to Billy Nelson and his team as well. So there's a lot of interviews to do. I may even try and squeeze some in tonight. So stay tuned. Thank you all so much for watching BWTM Sports. We delivered. We said we'd give you Evander the Real Deal Holyfield. The line was a bit busy and a bit crackly, but we did get to speak to Evander Holyfield, and we've delivered. And I'm sure we'll be talking to Evander Holyfield a lot more in the future. We spoke to the fighters, and I look forward to seeing the live stream on Saturday night on the Real Deal Boxing. That's a free stream. November the 18th, Real Deal Boxing. Thank you to, again, Eric Bentley, Evander Holyfield, Kiko, all those people behind, Justin Biggs, Edgar Berlanga, what's his name? Duke Micah, and of course our friend that we just spoke to at the end, the Rain Man. Boy, the Rain Man is funny. Right, I'm out of here for now. I'll be back, and I'm not sure who will pull up first. But I might just try and get another interview in tonight. Thank you all for watching. This has been BWTM Sports, and it's been great. Take care.